The Netherlands is known for having some of the tallest people in the world. If you ever visit this country, you will notice something special about the people. They are very tall. But what is surprising is how quickly this change happened. Not too long ago, the Dutch were actually one of the shortest populations in Europe. Just about 150 years ago, Dutch people were shorter than many other groups of people in Europe and the United States. So how did they become so tall? In the 1800s, the average height of Dutch men was around 165 centimeters, or about 5 feet 5 inches. To put this in perspective, people in the United States at that time were already taller. In fact, American men were about 5 centimeters taller than Dutch men on average. This is hard to imagine now, since the Dutch are much taller than people in the United States today. But at the time, it was a very different story. Dutch people were not known for their height. However, over the next 150 years, something truly remarkable happened. The average height of Dutch people increased by about 20 centimeters. That's a huge change in a short amount of time. To give you an idea, American men also grew taller during this period, but only by about 6 centimeters. The difference is very clear. The Dutch grew much faster in height than people in other countries. This change is one of the fastest and most dramatic increases in height ever seen in history. So, how did the Dutch go from being one of the shortest populations in Europe to the tallest people in the world? Experts believe that this dramatic change did not happen because of just one reason. Instead, there were many factors that worked together to help the Dutch grow taller. It wasn't just about genetics or having tall parents. It was more about the environment in which the Dutch lived, their diet, and their lifestyle. One of the biggest reasons for the change in height is the food the Dutch eat. The Dutch are known for their love of dairy products, especially milk and cheese. Dairy products are packed with calcium, which is very important for bone growth. Calcium helps bones grow strong and long, especially when you are a child and teenager. This is why dairy became a big part of the Dutch diet. Milk and cheese became common foods in the Netherlands, and children drank milk with almost every meal. The land in the Netherlands also played an important role. The country has a lot of wet, low-lying land that is perfect for growing grass. This grass is great for cows, which are the main source of milk. Dutch farmers raised many cows, which helped the dairy industry grow. There were so many cows that the country started producing more milk than the people could drink. So they began making cheese, which helped keep the milk fresh for a long time. Cheese became another important part of the Dutch diet. With all this milk and cheese available, Dutch children got plenty of calcium, protein, and other important nutrients. These nutrients helped their bones grow strong and tall. The Dutch diet, which was rich in dairy, played a big role in the population's increase in height. It was an easy and natural way for the Dutch people to get the nutrition they needed for growth. Another important factor was the wealth of the country. The Netherlands became a rich country, and when a country has money, it is able to provide its people with better food and health care. The Dutch could afford better quality food, which helped them grow taller and stronger. Wealth also meant that more people had access to health care. Good health care meant that children could see doctors and nurses when they were sick, and diseases could be prevented. In addition, a stable economy meant that families did not have to worry about basic survival. Instead of focusing on where their next meal would come from, people could focus on living healthy lives. In the past, many children in other countries were held back by diseases or poor nutrition. But in the Netherlands, the children grew up strong and healthy. They had the right food, good health care, and a stable environment that allowed them to focus on growing tall. These factors all work together to make the Dutch people the tallest in the world. Now, the Dutch are taller than people in many other countries, including the United States. But how did this all happen so quickly? It wasn't just because of genetics. While genes can influence how tall someone can grow, they don't change quickly. In the case of the Dutch, it was their environment, their diet, and their lifestyle that made the difference. The environment, which included access to healthy food and healthcare, helped the Dutch people grow to their full potential. This story of the Dutch people's rapid increase in height is truly remarkable. This transformation shows us that the environment we live in has a huge impact on our growth and development. It is not just about the genes we inherit from our parents. The right conditions such as good food, healthcare, and a stable environment can help us grow stronger, healthier, and even taller. The story of the Dutch is an inspiring example of how powerful the right conditions can be for human growth. In the end, the surprising height change in the Netherlands is a reminder that human development is shaped not just by biology, but by the environment we live in. With the right food, healthcare, and living conditions, people can reach their full potential. The Dutch experience teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes, small changes in the environment can lead to big changes in the way people grow and develop. The land in the Netherlands is perfect for growing grass, which is the main food for cows. The soil in the country is often wet and low, which makes it ideal for growing thick, green grass. This grass provides the cows with the food they need to produce milk. Over time, Dutch farmers started raising many cows to meet the demand for milk. Because there were so many cows, the dairy industry grew very large in the Netherlands. This meant that people had easy access to milk and cheese, which were important sources of calcium and other nutrients. In many other countries, milk and cheese might be considered special foods, but in the Netherlands, they became part of the everyday diet. Children drank milk with every meal, and cheese was used in many different dishes. It was not unusual for a family to eat cheese on bread for breakfast or lunch. This regular consumption of dairy products helped children get the nutrients they needed for their bones to grow strong. The availability of milk and cheese in the Netherlands helped ensure that children grew taller and healthier. Another important factor that helped the Dutch grow taller is the country's wealth. As the Netherlands became a richer nation, people had more money to spend on food. When people have more money, they can buy better food that gives them the nutrients their bodies need. Wealth also means better access to healthcare. The Dutch government invested in healthcare systems that allowed people to receive medical care when they needed it. This was important for children because they could visit doctors and receive treatments to stay healthy. Without the worrying of illness, their bodies were able to focus on growing tall. A wealthy country like the Netherlands also provides its citizens with a stable environment. When people don't have to worry about basic needs, such as food or safety, they can focus on other things, like their health. In the case of the Dutch, this stability allowed them to grow taller. Without the stress of poverty or unsafe living conditions, children were able to grow strong. Families did not have to worry about survival. Instead, they could focus on providing the best possible food and healthcare for their children. This stability made a big difference in the growth of the Dutch population. The Netherlands also has a very good healthcare system. Doctors and hospitals in the country focus on keeping people healthy and preventing sickness. In the past, many children around the world suffered from diseases that could slow down their growth. But in the Netherlands, the healthcare system helped prevent these problems. Children receive regular health checkups, and many diseases were kept under control. Vaccinations protected children from serious illnesses, which meant that their bodies could use energy for growing instead of fighting sickness. This good healthcare system helped the Dutch grow taller because children were healthy and strong. The combination of a healthy diet, good healthcare, and a stable, wealthy environment created the perfect conditions for the Dutch people to grow tall. The country's focus on providing good food, especially dairy, helped the Dutch population become taller. With the right nutrition, children's bones grew strong, and their bodies had what they needed to reach their full height. At the same time, the healthcare system helped keep children healthy, allowing them to grow without being slowed down by illness. In addition to food and healthcare, the Dutch lifestyle also played a role in their height. The Dutch are known for being very active, especially when it comes to cycling. Cycling is a popular way of getting around, and many children cycle to school or run errands. Physical activity, like cycling, helps strengthen bones and muscles, which supports growth. This active lifestyle is another reason why Dutch children grow tall and stronger than children in many other countries. By moving their bodies regularly, the Dutch were helping their bones develop and grow stronger. Contributing to their overall height, The environment in the Netherlands is also a key factor. A safe, stable society where people can focus on their health and well-being is important for growth. Children who grow up in stressful environments or unsafe conditions may not have the energy to focus on growing. But in the Netherlands, the country's wealth and safety allowed families to live in a way that promoted good health. The less stress people experience in their daily lives, the better their bodies can develop. All of these factors, diet, healthcare, wealth, physical activity, and a stable society, work together to help the Dutch grow taller. The Dutch diet, rich in dairy products, provided the nutrients needed for strong bones. Their wealth allowed them to access good food and healthcare, while their active lifestyle supported their physical growth. Together, these factors created an environment where people could grow to their full height and reach their potential. The combination of these things made the Netherlands one of the tallest countries in the world. This story of the Dutch height growth shows how much the environment can affect our bodies. It is not just about the genes we inherit from our parents, but also about the conditions we live in. The right food, healthcare, and lifestyle can make a big difference in how tall we grow. The Dutch experience teaches us that when the right conditions are in place, people can grow strong, healthy, and tall. When we talk about how tall the Dutch people have become, we often wonder, is it because of their genes? Do the Dutch have special genes that make them taller than people from other countries? Some people believe that genetics, or the way our bodies inherit traits from our parents, has a big role in how tall we become. However, when it comes to the Dutch, scientists believe that genetics alone is not enough to explain their remarkable increase in height. In nature, there is a process called natural selection. This is a slow process where certain traits become more common in a population over time. For example, if taller people tend to have more children, then their children may also inherit their height. Over many generations, this could lead to a population becoming taller. Some scientists thought that this might be the reason why the Dutch grew so tall. They believe that because taller Dutch men might have had more children, their taller genes would have been passed down more often, making the population taller. However, when scientists looked more closely at the numbers, they found something interesting. They discovered that the effect of natural selection was very small. Taller men did tend to have slightly more children, but the difference was not big enough to explain the rapid height change in just 150 years. The genetic change from natural selection would have taken much longer to make a noticeable difference. So, while genetics did play a small part, it was not the main reason why the Dutch became so tall so quickly. This tells us that while genes may give people the potential to be tall, they are not the only factor. The environment and lifestyle also play a very important role in how tall we grow. The Dutch experience shows us that genetics alone cannot explain the dramatic height change that occurred. Instead, the environment, including the food people eat, the healthcare they receive, and their active lifestyle, had a much bigger impact on their growth. The lifestyle of the Dutch people has also played a big part in their height. One of the key factors in their lifestyle is their level of physical activity. The Dutch are famous for cycling. Almost everyone, from children to adults, rides a bike to get around. Cycling is not just a fun activity in the Netherlands, it is a regular part of daily life. Children often cycle to school, and adults cycle to work or run errands. Cycling is a great form of exercise. It helps strengthen bones, muscles, and overall health. Regular physical activity like cycling can help the body grow strong and support bone development, which is very important for height. In addition to cycling, the Dutch also maintain a healthy lifestyle by eating well and staying active. Many people in the Netherlands focus on getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, and staying fit. This active and healthy lifestyle helps the Dutch people grow taller and stay strong. Unlike some countries where children may not get enough exercise or have access to healthy foods, the Dutch enjoy a lifestyle that supports their growth. Another important part of the Dutch lifestyle is the overall health and safety of the country. The Netherlands is a stable and safe place to live. There is less stress and worrying about things like poverty or unsafe living conditions. This stability allows people to focus on their health and well-being. In a society where people are not constantly worried about survival, their bodies have the energy to grow and develop to their full potential. The Dutch people can focus on being healthy, active, and taking care of their bodies, which helps them grow taller and stronger. We can also look at how the Dutch healthcare system has contributed to their growth. The Netherlands has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. People can easily see doctors for regular checkups, and children receive the care they need to stay healthy. Vaccinations are a big part of the healthcare system, helping to prevent diseases that could harm children's growth. When children are healthy, their bodies can use their energy to grow instead of fighting sickness. A good healthcare system helps prevent growth problems and ensures that children can reach their full height. While genetics are important, it is clear that the Dutch lifestyle and environment have played a much bigger role in their growth. The combination of good food, exercise, healthcare, and a safe, stable society has allowed the Dutch people to reach their full potential in terms of height. These factors have worked together to create an environment that supports growth, and this is why the Dutch are so tall today. In conclusion, genetics might play a small part in why some people are tall, but it is not the only reason. The Dutch people's height growth is mainly due to their environment and lifestyle. The right food, regular exercise, good healthcare, and a stable society all contributed to the Dutch becoming the tallest people in the world. The Dutch experience teaches us that the environment around us plays a huge role in our growth. With the right conditions, people can grow tall and healthy, just like the Dutch have. The next time you think about why some people are taller than others, remember that genetics alone is not the answer. It's the combination of genes and a healthy, supportive environment that makes a big difference. Throughout the story, we learned about the surprising journey of the Dutch people, who went from being one of the shortest populations in Europe to becoming the tallest people in the world. This transformation happened over the course of 150 years, and it wasn't just because of their genes. It was the result of several important factors coming together. First, the Dutch had a diet rich in dairy products, especially milk and cheese. These foods provided the necessary nutrients, like calcium, to help their bones grow strong and tall. Second, the country's wealth allowed the Dutch to access better food, healthcare, and living conditions, which helped them grow to their full potential. Third, the active lifestyle of the Dutch people, with their love for cycling, played a key role in supporting bone development and overall health. It is important to remember that genetics are not the only reason people grow tall. The environment, including the food we eat, the care we receive, and the lifestyle we lead, also plays a crucial role in our growth and development. The story of the Dutch teaches us that the right conditions, such as good nutrition, physical activity, and a stable society, can help people reach their maximum height and health. The Dutch were able to make the most of these conditions, and as a result, they became the tallest population in the world. From this story, we can learn that success is not just about what we inherit from our parents, but also about the environment we create for ourselves. Just like the Dutch, we can improve our health and growth by taking care of our bodies, eating the right foods, staying active, and living in a stable environment. Whether we are talking about physical growth or personal development, the right conditions are key. We can apply these lessons to our own lives by focusing on our health, seeking the right support, and creating an environment that helps us thrive. Congratulations on finishing this story and improving your English listening and understanding skills. You've learned a lot from the story of the Dutch people's height transformation, and now it's time to test your knowledge. Quiz question: what was one of the main reasons the Dutch people became taller? A. Genetics, B. A healthy diet and good health care. Please leave your answer in the comments or B. We would love to see your answers and hear your thoughts on the story. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to support us. Your subscription motivates us to continue creating more helpful content for you. If you would like to support our channel further, consider making a donation. Your contribution will help us continue producing high-quality content, especially in the early stages when it's harder to keep things running. We do all this work for free because we genuinely want to help you learn English. Thank you for your support, and keep up the great work.